Hi, I'm Lee Partridge and welcome back to Col U TV for a pre-match show ahead of the Hartlepool game today. It's been a busy week, especially deadline day here at Colchester. Two arrivals, as you probably will know. We'll hear from them shortly. Kwesi Appiah, who's on a season-long loan with us here, and of course Matty Longstaff, who's with us till at least January. We'll hear from both of those shortly, but let's start with the boss. This is Wayne Brown's pre-match thoughts.
In terms of new faces coming in, do you find it gives an extra sort of lift to training, an extra zing into things, or have you felt, well, we don't need that anyway, it's always been fine?
I think it's something that we try and strive for in training sessions, to try and get the tempo of the session as close to a match day tempo as we can. Ultimately, that's the only way you're going to improve with players making decisions under stress, which will happen on a Tuesday and a Saturday. But ultimately, when you bring new faces in, there's always a few that look around and go, well, I need to buck my ideas up here, because instead of there only being maybe two for that position, there's now 3 or 4. So it is good. It is good for the group. It does give people a little bit of a kick up the backside maybe sometimes. And I'm not for 1 minute saying that there is people in our environment that do this, but other environments that I've witnessed as a player, you know, people sometimes get in a comfort zone when you're running with small numbers, thinking that they're going to get an opportunity to play week in and week out. Obviously, when the numbers grow in your squad, those individuals all of a sudden think, well, I need to back my ideas up. But again, that can only be healthy. It can only be a healthy situation, and that's an environment that we're trying to create.
And you have created that environment. The goalkeeping one's an interesting one. Obviously, Kieran came in for his debut in the League Cup, and he kept his place on Saturday. You said you wanted 2 number ones, and they're going to have to sort of almost fight each other for it, aren't they?
Well, I think people have seen enough from Kieran and certainly of Sam that we've brought 2 number ones in. You know, we've not gone down the route of having an out-and-out number one with maybe 2 inexperienced lads backing him up. I want to create competition for places all over the pitch, and we identified earlier on in the summer that that's the route that we wanted to go down. Thankfully, we've got 2 really good ones in, but now it's up to those 2 individuals to fight for their place and make their place their own, and the only way they're going to do that is by doing the business on the pitch. And I think both Sam and Kieran, when have been called upon already, have not let us down.
Almost becomes a sort of week by week thing for them, doesn't it? What they show you during the week and what they've done in the previous game, if they've had the shirt, then it's a week by week basis.
That's no different to any other position. You know, centre forwards, 10s, 4s, left backs, right backs, centre halves, we're all in the same position. And as I said, if we can create that all over the pitch, then ultimately the standards and the levels of the mentality will rise, because you've got to be the best player on the pitch in your position. If you're not, you find yourself out of the team.
Great win at Hartlepool to finish last season. Obviously, management's changed, personnel has changed, etc., etc. Do they still like to play the same way? Because they were very much playing out from the back last year.
Yeah, we've obviously done our homework on them. They have changed their manager in the summer. There's been a little bit of a turnaround in players, but I don't envisage them doing a lot different than what they do at the end of last season. They've obviously not had a greatest of starts points wise. I think their performances have been good. They've been at a level. They've obviously had a good win in the week in the cup, which I'm sure will do their confidence no harm at all. But look, we're on our home patch. You know, we need to be more productive and more creative in the final third. We've tried to act in the window, which is still 10 hours to go in the window, but we've tried to identify of how we can improve in that final third with creating opportunities and ultimately scoring opportunities. We created 4 or 5 real good opportunities against Tranmere and didn't put them away. At key areas of the match, you know, 1-0 down after 6 minutes, but we could quite easily go in 2-1 up, and then that changes the whole complexion of the game. But as I said to you before, I'm not in the business of if, buts and maybes and should have been. We're not in the business for that. We haven't got an excuse mentality at the football club. Ultimately, they need to be in the back of the net, and we need to start putting points on the board. If we start getting those chances on a regular basis and start putting them on the net, the points will come. So I've not got any doubt in that.
So Wayne, they're looking to take the game to the opponents today. and he could well use the new arrivals to do that. Here's the first deadline day signing, Kwesi Appiah, about his thoughts on joining us here at Colchester.
Well, welcome to Colchester United. Obviously a sideways move, but staying in League Two, a level you know really, really well. How soon did you know about this might be in the offing?
I think, I had a word with Crawley a few weeks ago now about my situation. So I was on the lookout, and then this came up about a week or so after that conversation. So yeah, it's been in the pipeline for a good few days. But, spoke to the manager, spoke to Steve Ball, and we had a good conversation, and it was the right move for me. So I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to it.
There's a lot of things going on at Crawley, on and off the pitch, I know. So maybe the right time for you to get out and hopefully play regularly.
Yeah, as you said, there's a lot of things going on. The club's had a takeover, old managers left, new managers come in, loads of new players. Obviously, the targets for the season haven't really been realised so far, but it's a long way to go. So I'm sure they'll do what they need to do to turn it around. But as you said, for me, not being a part of the group was a bit painful for me, really. So especially after a good season last year. So I'm looking forward to coming here and carrying on where I left off last year and just continue that momentum.
Exactly what I was going to ask you next. You look at your numbers from last season and people might be scratching their heads saying, well, why have Crawley let him go?
It's an interesting question because I asked myself that as well. It wasn't something I was expecting. At the end of last season I signed a new contract which I made plans for, and I was looking to honour that contract. I didn't expect to be in this position. So football's like that sometimes, and unfortunately, there's opinions in the game that sometimes don't favour you as a player, and that's what it is. You've got to respect them, and you've got to do what's best for you and your family, I guess.
It's an industry where in the blink of an eye, I guess your future can change, and you look at your career, you have moved around and had to move around a fair bit. It's sometimes people from the outside don't realise it's not a settled way of life.
No, and as you said there, I'm not a person who would just sit around and just not play, and I want to play. So if I'm ever in a situation where I've been told you're probably not going to get this game time or whatever, then for me it's important. It's a short career and you want to try and make the most of it. So for me, that's one of the reasons why I'm not static in my clubs. I'll move around if I have to get the game time, and this is what's happened now.
And it might not be a huge long stretch, but does the fact it is for the rest of the season help a bit?
Absolutely. Crawley have made it clear that I wasn't in their plans, which again was a shock for me. But to be here for the whole season, I've refocused myself now, and I'm looking forward to giving my all for Colchester.
You say Crawley made it clear, so it must be nice to be wanted somewhere.
This is the thing, and that's again, it's such a strange feeling for me because I struck such a good relationship with the fans and the club last season, and the previous manager I was one of his main players, and that was nice to have that sort of feeling, and then as you've said there, things have changed, a lot has changed around the place, so to go from that position to them being not so valued and not wanted in the team was a bit strange, but as you said, fresh start and fresh energy, so I'm excited to feel that love again and looking forward to giving my all. And
nice to have that option quickly and before the end of the transfer window, because as you say, you could have been sitting around and maybe watching from the stands, or I don't know, being hauled around shops or whatever on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean that happened a couple of times this season already where I wasn't involved in certain squads, and it hurt, as a player that's committed to the club and want to give my all for the club. It hurt a lot, so that was hard, and that's not an experience I would have wanted to last any longer than it did. Hence why we moved as quickly as we could to get something done, and I'm happy now, and I'm looking forward to it.
What have you made of it coming in here? Obviously you've played against Colchester quite regularly right across your career. What have you made it coming in here and coming into the group?
Well, to be honest, first of all, first impressions of the training ground are fantastic, and it's not something I expected. I've never been here before, so I didn't know what to expect, and really happy with what's going on here, and looking around, it's a nice club, and I'm looking forward to exploring it a bit more. Obviously playing on this side of the fence is obviously a bit different to previously, but it's something I'm excited for, and it's a big club in my opinion.
Yeah, obviously it's a club that's been used to success sort of at this level. Last couple of years haven't gone great. Slow start to this season, so you'll be looking to put that to right.
Yeah, it's been made clear to me that my job here is to come in and score goals and try and galvanise the troops as much as I can with those goals. So that's my plan, to work hard for the team, score as many goals as I can, and just give everything for the team.
There's a few options in your position as well, and I guess that helps for competition for places, as they always say, and if things aren't going right, there's always things to be changed around.
Of course, I've always looked at this squad, in years gone by, and I've always looked at it and thought, wow, we've got a lot of good players here, and some good options. So to add myself to that is nice, to be a part of a strong group, and I'm looking forward to turning the fortunes round.
There's our new number 9, looking to get amongst the goals here at Colchester United. The Ghanaian international was prolific for Crawley Town last season, and of course we hope he will do the same for us today. You heard the words from him, and you also saw some of the highlights of what we hopefully will be seeing here with us. Let's speak to our second deadline day signing, Matty Longstaff. Once again, we'll hear some words from him and also look at what we can be looking forward to seeing this season.
Matty, transfer deadline day, usually a busy one. How was it for you?
Believe it or not, it was probably a bit easier than the last one I had. That I got this deal done obviously in the afternoon. That the window before it was last hour of the window, so it was a bit easier. But like most windows, you're just waiting to get something done, and obviously I'm glad it got done. Yeah,
and obviously the last one was to Mansfield, so a bit of a longer journey for this one.
Yeah, obviously a lot longer coming down last night. Like you said, it took its time in that, but now I'm here. I'm really looking forward to it, and looking forward to getting going.
The first thing you'll do is have to meet all the players and everything like that, and have a new set of players for you.
Yeah, like I said, obviously I've only been in this morning, but they seem like a great bunch in that. Obviously, as I'm here longer and longer, I'll get a bit closer with them, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I mean, from what we hear, there was other clubs interested. What was it about Colchester United that it made you think, actually, yeah, we'll go down there?
I think it's just more when you speak with managers, really. Obviously, I spoke with the manager here, and he seemed really good, really positive. Obviously, made some really good signings in that, and got a strong squad. So just the ambitions of where the club want to be this year and that, and hopefully I can come and help the team achieve them.
Yeah, and in the short term and up until January, I presume it'll just be a case of you wanting to get as many minutes as you can and playing your football.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I want to come here and play, but also you want to win games, and you want to be in a team that's winning all the time. It creates a better environment. Obviously, it's better for everyone in there, and I think that's the main aim. Come here to win as many games as possible, and hopefully get as high up the table as possible.
Will your experiences last year at this level help you knowing the level?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I think played against the majority of the team, so you kind of know what to expect. And obviously now I've experienced League Two. I know what's in stake and how a lot of the teams play, like I said. So I'm sure it can only help me going into the games.
Yeah, and obviously, you'll be training today and won't have much time to get to know the lads before the first game that you could be involved in, Hartlepool tomorrow.
Yeah, like I said, I just want to get going. Obviously, meeting everyone's great in that, but ideally, to play football, and I'm looking forward to getting out and training with the lads in that and seeing what it's like, and obviously can't wait for tomorrow.
One of the most exciting signings we've seen since we started Col U TV, and we can't wait to see him in action. I know you will, but give him a warm Colchester welcome, and you can head over to our social media channels and website to see today's starting lineup. That's pretty much about it for today. Don't forget to vote for your man of the match after the game. You can also go to media@colchesterunited.net or send anything in to us, media@colchesterunited.net, anything Colchester United related. And we'll leave you with the August Goal of the Month winner, as chosen by you. It's Tom Eastman's header against Bradford City in the last minute of normal time. Nicely put on his head from the boot of Noah Chilvers. Get out there, cheer on the lads, and I'll see you on Tuesday for the pre-match show ahead of the Brighton game. Until then, have a great weekend, and it's goodbye for now.
Taken right-footed by Chilvers. Eastman with it! Tom Eastman has won it for Colchester United. Wayne Brown punches the air with delight. What a thrilling finish for Colchester United. A wonderfully flighted free kick by Chilvers, and then Eastman just wanted it more, powered it beyond Lewis and into the net. Colchester United have won it. News 1, Bradford City 0.